Hey YouTube friends, today is Wednesday, May 16th, and I'm here with your daily Y&R review. Um, at Crimson Lights, Billy tells Jack that Ashley insists she'll be okay and she's much less fragile than she has been in the past, and they agree to keep an eye on her just in case. Billy says he's lucky Vicky forgave him and they'll support Ashley no matter what she decides. Sarge appears and implies that there may be something to the feeling Jack had in his toe. So Billy says, well, you guys go ahead and talk and I'll catch back up with you later. And Sarge tells Jack that they'll continue to work hard. Ashley interrupts Tucker, comforting Harmony. They both, say, oh, this was nothing, it was nothing at all. And, Harmony just hurried up and leave because she was already upset. Ashley hollers that Devon must be thrilled his parents are getting back together, and he tells him that Devon is disgusted. He tells her that Devon is disgusted and he's real upset. No, he's not happy, and they exchange words, and Ashley just leaves. So Tucker gets to throwing stuff because he's all upset. Nick and Catherine are talking at the athletic club about Victor and all this, and him with Sharon and all of that. And they see Victoria there. So they go over, and Victoria says she avoids bringing the baby to the athletic club because Chelsea lives there, and she just don't want that to be all awkward. So Catherine was like, well, you guys go ahead and talk. I'll see you later. She leaves. Victoria tells Nikki how she was heartwarming that Victor, how Victor was holding the baby and how he was bonding with him, and she really likes how he did it, but it's just not enough to undo what he had already done with the whole, Chelsea and Billy thing. So Victoria gets Chelsea's bill from the hospital, from the living at the athletic club, and mutters that she thought she'd be gone by now, because the man brings over the bill from the athletic club, and she opens it while her and Nikki are talking, and Nikki being nosy, she looking at it, and Victoria's like, thought she just be gone by now. So at Chelsea, Adam comes to Chelsea's room, and she's looking for a job, and they agreed that it was drawn to business and the order deal. It was they agree it was drawn to business and the ordeal at a young age. She says she's a dropout. And it suggests that she get her diploma, and then go to college, and then maybe she can get a good job. So Neil arrives at home, and the nanny is there, and she's talking about how no, Sophia hadn't come yet, and he tell her she can leave, he got the baby, and she's like, well, okay. So Sophia comes up, and she said, don't you? And you talk to Tucker. And she was like, yeah, I know what happened. And she goes, when did you find out? And he's like, Harmony told me. And so she also tells she also said, oh yeah, I ran into Harmony today too, and I put her on notice, to stay away from you. You a married man, we have a baby together. You and Harmony don't have nothing in common. You should try to be focusing on me, in other words. So she tells Neil, you gonna mess around and you gonna mess up everything. She's telling him that Harmony is not worthy of him. She is. So she said it's gonna be too late when you realize if you don't come to your snap back. In other words, she was like, you need to snap out of whatever you got going with Harmony, because you gonna mess around and mess us up. So Catherine goes to Tucker's place, and she's there. She says she's there if he needs her, and he's upset about what he's putting Ashley through. And Catherine asks if Devon know, and he said yeah, he found out earlier. And Catherine urges him to not give up on Devon. And he's like, well, I don't know, I think I done messed up, So Tucker asks her to help out. Catherine says he'll need to address whatever issues they have before that would have led up to him cheating. So Tucker said he just want Ashley back. Catherine say you need to give her her space, and give her time to be upset. And he can't make her forgive. You can't make her forgive you. Is what she said in so many words. So, um, what I want to say? Whose name? Whose name? Victoria and Victoria and Victoria and Billy go over to be with to see Chelsea now. They arrive. Chelsea turns them down because they offer her to relocate wherever she want to go. And she said, well, no, if I would have really wanted to relocate, I would have took the deal your daddy offered me. And she's like, yeah, my dad offered you a deal? And she said, well, when was that? And she said, he offered me a deal at the hospital, then again a couple days ago. And she said, well, how much did he offer? She's like, $10 million. And Billy was like, oh, and that didn't convince you to leave? And she said, no, I'm not to be bribed. He said, you must really like it here because you going to turn down $10 million. And so she reminded them that y'all promised me that I could be a part of John's life. I can't be a part of his life way wherever I want to go. I like it here. There's no place else I want to be. That's where I want to be. So she smiles that maybe she'll know him when he's older, but they're raising him and she can pay her own bills from now on. After Chelsea asks Adam what she's supposed to do now, Adam suggests they move in together because Billy and Victoria left. They see they wouldn't get no pool with her. So they left, and she was like, well, I can no longer really afford to live here without a job. And he said, well, you can just move in with me. It don't matter how many people I have in my house, still gonna be the same amount. And she's like, are you sure? And he was like, no strings attached. You could just move in, no strings attached. So she started packing and get ready to leave with him. So, what I want to say? Uh, After at the table, Catherine calls Sophia over before she goes home to be with Neil. She spoke with Catherine, so that's what I forgot. So Catherine got to telling her about what Tucker had done, and she had already knew about it. And Catherine hopes he and Ashley can work things out, and she leaves. And Harmony comes up, and then that's when her and Harmony had a word, and she said, you messed up one family, you ain't gonna mess up this one, so you need to stay away from my husband. So Sophia admits that she and Sarge are friends, and insists there's nothing between. She admits this to Sophia that her and Sarge are friends, and nothing else between her and Neil either. She lets Sophia know that they not boyfriend and girlfriend. Her and Sarge, they were just friends. She just playing it off or whatever. Um. So after she get back home with so Harmony shows up at Ashley's doorstep and tells her that Tucker loves her and he waited his whole life to be with her, and what happened was just a stupid mistake. And Ashley disagrees it was a mistake, and she said, you made a conscious decision to sleep with him. In other words, you were sober, you weren't drunk, so why'd you do it? So Ashley said, I never forget the image that assaulted my eyeballs when I walked in and saw you and him in the bed together. So Harmony's like, you should forgive Tucker. It wasn't his fault, and he didn't do it on purpose. He was drunk and all that stuff. And Ashley asked why she even came back. She said, is this how she reconnects with her son sleeping with his dad or whatever? And she was like, no, that's not it. And they exchanged words. So Nikki goes to Crimson Light, and Jack invites her to join him, and she's worried that Kyle will come in, and he's like, look, I'm not gonna keep beating around the bush. Every time I see you, I want to be with you, and I'm tired of being this way. We can be cordial, we can talk, forget whatever happens. He doesn't want to live his life like this. He wants her to be in his life. And then Catherine arrives, and Jack, say, oh, y'all go ahead and talk. I'm going to go get the coffee. Because Sarge will just be mad at me if he see y'all getting coffee and instead of me getting it. So Catherine tells Nikki that Jack's in love with her. And she's like, I don't think so. So, Tucker goes to Ashley's house to take her stuff. So she was like, when she opened the door, she was like, what do you want? She thought he wanted to talk some more. He said, I just came to bring you the rest of your stuff. Where do you want me to put it? And she was looking like, wow, you know, like I didn't think you would say it quite like that. So Harmony goes on to Jimmy's, and she's at the bar and she's ordering a drink. So a drug dealer she used to be cool, you know, used to deal with back in the day, he came in and he was like, oh, hey, I heard you was out and how you doing? And you look like you can use some of what I got. You know, I got my good stuff for you. And Sarge is at the bar, but they don't know he's there. He's kind of got his back turned, but he's listening. And he was like, you know, you look like you can use a hit. You know, I got a little something. Come on over and talk to me at the table. She was like, well, all right. You know, she's real gullible right now. So they go to Billy. Back at home, Victoria is complaining about having to promise Chelsea that she won't have any, that she can have contact with her son. She's regretting it now, and Billy was like, "It was Victor. If Victor couldn't pry her out, I don't know what we can do, what I can do to pry her out." So Vicky, you know, says she's surprised over the amount of money that Chelsea would turn down, and wonder what is Adam turning over a new leaf was the influence, and you know why would she do that? You know, they just pondering what is her agenda and all of that. So they hold John, and Billy lets her know that everything's gonna be okay and all of that. So they go back to Tucker being at Ashley's, and he was like, yeah, so where do you want me to put this stuff? You want me to take it up there? Do you have a room picked out, or what do you want me to do? And he tells her that he's sorry and he loves her, and she's like, oh yeah, you know, in other words, you got a good way of showing it. And you know, she said, just leave it, I'll take care of it. So you know, he leaves after that. They say they goodbyes. So, as the man is trying to offer Harmony some drugs at Jimmy's, she turned him down. And then Sarge happened to come over and see that she, you know, the guy left. He was like, well, you sure? Where's your loss? You know. So after the drug dealer leave and Harmony turned him down, you know, Sarge, you know, he was proud. He offers to go to a meeting with her, and she's like, why are you, you know, watching me, or why are you agreeing to go to a meeting with me? What's your agenda? He said, well, I just think you deserve to have some support, somebody to go with you. You did a good job. I'm proud of you. You turned it down and all of that. So that's pretty much what happened today. It wasn't really all that, you know, wasn't nothing big. Wednesdays are never really all that good like Fridays and Monday, Tuesdays. So it was all right. So on, let's see, on tomorrow, Daniel tells Avery, Michael, and Lauren that a lot of people have suffered because of Daisy, and he's just trying to make things right. So Ricky tells Daisy if she doesn't start to play nice, he'll tell the court she had Lucy kidnapped. And then Paul tells Avery he's going to get more information on Ricky's old girlfriend today, which will be tomorrow. So that's what's going to happen, you guys. See you tomorrow for your daily Y&R review. And thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. And you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.